You want to be a millionaire, right? Well, keep watching, because by the end of this here video, you'll know how to make $1 million guaranteed. I kid you not. Good day to you folks. Money Jim here, your money pal. Making $1 million is a dream for lots of people and a reality for plenty folks too. See, in the US, there's millions of millionaires and millions more of them around the world. And that means being a millionaire ain't just for the 1%. In fact, according to the Federal Reserve's most recent figures, 18% of American households are millionaires. So you can see it ain't so far out of reach. And Jim here's gonna show you how to join them. And lucky for you, sunshine, you don't have to set up a business or go loading up on debt to buy real estate or nothing like that. In fact, you're gonna do the same thing most millionaires did to make most of their money. Invest. And that can make you a millionaire guaranteed. There's this thing called compound growth or compound interest. Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world, and I can't say I disagree with him. See, compound growth is when you get growth on growth on growth. What can turn your 5 or 10% returns into 1,000% gains. And with growth like that, you can become a millionaire. Let me show you how compound growth works with a real quick story about rice on a chessboard. Long time ago, the king was rewarding a man who asked him what he wanted. The man asked for a single grain of rice on the first square of a chessboard, 2 grains on the second square, 4 grains on the third, and so on, doubling the grains until all 64 squares were covered. The king thought this a mighty humble reward and agreed. Trouble is, the man ended up being owed more rice than all the rice in the world. That's because by the 20th square, there'd be over 1 million grains on the board. By the 40th, there'd be over 1 billion. And by the end, there'd be over 18 quintillion. That's 18 billion, just from doubling 1. That goes to show 2 things. First, compound growth can turn small numbers into real big ones over time. And second, you don't need to double your returns each year to get mighty fine gains. In fact, doubling your money each year ain't realistic at all. If you could do that starting with just $80, after 40 years, you'd have more money than there is in all the world right now. Anyway, back to the first point. The main thing about compound growth is it needs time. As time goes on, your money will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So that begs the question, what kind of returns do you need to get and over how long to become a millionaire? Well, that depends how much you starting with and how much you add in each month, don't it? See, if you're starting with nothing and you add in not much at all, you're either gonna need some darn big returns or probably more years than you got left in you. Whereas if you're starting out with 100,000 and you add in 10 grand each month, you'll get there in no time with just average returns. But let's say you start in from zero. You putting away $7,000 each year, which by the way is the most you can add to a Roth IRA for those of you in the US. If you earn the average US wage, that works out just over 10% of your earnings before taxes. That should be easy enough if you got your money in check. Now, because we invest in that money, it's gonna grow. Plenty of folks say you can count on somewhere between 8 and 12% annual returns from stocks. If you already watched my video on the truth about stock market returns, you'll know that could be a mighty long way off the mark unless you invested for much longer than most people think. Lucky for you, we gonna invest long enough to be confident of at least 8% average returns a year. But I'm gonna knock it down a peg to 7% to be on the safe side, because there's gonna be some costs along the way too. So, with all those assumptions in place, invest in $7,000 each year with 7% average annual returns. How long till you become a millionaire? Well, it's about 35 years. Max out your Roth IRA each year, get 7% on average from the stock market, and by doing nothing else, you'll become a millionaire guaranteed in 35 years. Now I know what some of you be thinking. 35 years sounds like an awful long time. Ain't there some way I could become a millionaire faster? Well, here's the truth, sunshine. More often than not, becoming a millionaire takes time. That's why over 3/4 of millionaires are over 50, and the average age of millionaires is over 60. So you gotta have a bit of patience. If you try and rush it by chasing higher returns, you might never get there at all. Because when you go chasing higher returns, there's a higher risk of failure too. But you'll be happy to know there is a way to become a millionaire faster without taking no silly amount of risk. You put away more each month. If you're over 30, you probably don't got more than 35 years of earnings anyway. So you're gonna have to save more whether you like it or not. And you know what? However old you are, whether you over 30 or under 30, I always say you should aim to invest 25% of your after-tax earnings anyway. After you paid off all them debts and got a nice big savings buffer, that is. See, if you earn the average US wage over your working life, which of course on average we all will, then you got 20% taken off, taxes and social security and the like, and then you invest 25% of what's left, you'll be putting away about $13,000 a year. And you know what that means? If you're putting away nearly twice as much, that's right, you'll become a millionaire years faster. Or if you kept going till 35 years, instead of 1 million, you'd have 1.8 million, nearly twice as much. And along with what you got in your 401k, and probably a mortgage-free property, that'll make you a multi-millionaire. So there you have it, sunshine. That's how you go and make a million, guaranteed. See you next time, sunshine.